Southwestern Family of Companies welcomes you to the Action Catalyst. Each week, our diversely and amazingly accomplished guests share their insights and inspirations to help us ignite our own. So let's invest attention together to breathe, to reflect and refocus, and decisively defeat that voice we call Mr. Mediocrity. Then let's enjoy moving forward to make a positive difference in our world.
On today's episode, host Dan Moore welcomes author and mental scientist, Dr. Hank Seitz. With a PhD in mental science and master's degree in psychology, Dr. Hank has authored 15 books and coached Fortune 500 companies and entrepreneurs around the world over the last 20 years on improving their mindset using the power of the mind. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Action Catalyst. This is Dan Moore, and I am so thrilled today to be spending time with Dr. Hank Seitz. First of all, I've never known anybody with a PhD in mental science, which is part of his educational background, but it's not just his academic credentials. It is his career experiences and above all, his personal voyage, his heroism, and his bravery through setbacks that would have stopped anybody else in their tracks. So, Dr. Hank, welcome so much to the Action Catalyst.
Well, Dan, thank you. And you're just such a blessing in your show to everybody to inspire and uplift us that the Action Catalyst is really something to behold. So I appreciate your leadership on getting that out here. And I think your audience is going to love what we're going to talk about today.
I don't think there's any question about it. Now, one of the things I love to find out from our guests who have achieved so much are some of the most significant pivot points that they hit along the way. And yours is particularly dramatic. I wonder if you could take us back to your experiences with the VA after your Vietnam. And by the way, thank you so much for your service. Can you describe a bit about that and then some of the other key pivots that have happened over the years?
Well, yes. And in fact, I have a book called The Happiest Man, one of my 15 books, The Happiest Man in the World. And it actually goes into the challenges. So, Dan, have used to live life like most of us currently do. And that is our ups and downs and ups and downs. And just one of the experience, I'll go to Vietnam. There's a lot of different experiences, but I actually at the time was stationed in Korea, and I had an opportunity. I was in supply, and I had an opportunity with 5 supply points, and I was approached by the Korean mafia, and they literally were came to me and said, "Hey, we'd like you to start illegally grabbing all this." I had all refrigerators and microwaves and all these things, supply points. And so, long story short, I agreed with them, went to my commanding officer. Next thing I knew, I was working for the CIA, and we actually took down the Korean mafia. But right when that happened, my life was in danger. They flew me to Japan, and at that time, they actually got in somehow and poisoned my food. So I was poisoned and nearly died on that flight. And just remember going through in Tokyo in an ambulance, going to the hospital, pop my stomach, etc. But it was one amazing journey that really took me to realize that, wow, I can do this, that I'm capable, and we all are capable to overcome things, to be, do, and have the things that we want. Now, is that the experience, or is it the car accident where I was paralyzed half in my body?
Well, I'm amazed that you have more than one of these events, but yes, please share about the car accident.
This happened about 7 years ago, and I was driving along on a highway and passing a semi that was towing a semi, 18-wheeler towing an 18-wheeler, and they were in the left lane, I was in the right lane, and all of a sudden they lost control of that 18-wheeler being towed, totaled my car and totaled my body. And when I totaled my car, totaled my body, and because I am a Vietnam veteran, the VA proclaimed me permanently disabled, permanently homebound, and that I'd never walk again. And they said I could not, I was paralyzed from my waist down, and that no operation would help, probably hinder me more. And because at the time I wasn't in any pain per se, but I could feel anything. And so I just decided not to believe the doctors. And I love doctors, Dan, don't get me wrong, that they can be good. But if it's not on something that I want, that we each have the power to create our lives. We are the creators of our experience, and it all starts with our thoughts. So in this case, I just started thinking and visualizing on me walking and dancing and just having a great, great life. And one day, breath after breath, thought after thought, all of a sudden I felt a little movement in my right toe. And I know, Dan, that whatever we focus our attention on grows. So I focused my attention on that energy, on that movement in my right toe. And as I did, sure enough, it grew breath after breath, day after day. And it went up my right leg, across my waist, down my left leg, and voila. And though you can't see me right now, that I actually am up and walking around. And the good news is that I'm just as special as all of us, every one of you out there, and that we literally have the power to be able to have the life that we want. What the stumbling block usually is for us, Dan, is that we're focused on what's in front of us. But see, all of science, in fact, what I've been teaching for almost 30 years, that all of science, and this is quantum physicists, molecular biologists, all the disciplines of science have agreed that there are just 3 steps in order to create our experience or our dreams or anything that we desire. And those 3 steps are, the first step is with our all-powerful mind. Our thoughts literally create our lives and our tomorrows, if you will. Well, those thoughts then create energy, and that energy then creates what the scientists say, matter, M-A-T-T-E-R. And this is why, Dan, thoughts become things. Where we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot is we have been taught and believe that we have to face reality. We want to look at what's happening right now, what our bank account balance is, who's in our bed, who's in our garage, whatever, that we are told that we have to be looking at that. But if you'll recall, it really is old news. The matter, what I'm experiencing is old news, because it all started with my previous thought. So instead of facing reality, and a lot of people say, Dr. Hank, why don't you face reality? And I say, I'm never going to face reality. I'm going to create reality. And each one of us have the power to do that as we think better feeling thoughts, think about what we do want, and not put our attention onto the things that we don't like that are happening in our lives.
Whoa, I feel like I just hit an oyster colony full of pearls. This is amazing. So first of all, the awareness that we are responsible for our lives, that we can choose the outcome we want to have, that we can concentrate our thoughts, focusing on what we most want, not what we don't want.
Yeah.
And that by constant visualization, imagery, and thinking, slowly, even physical debilities as you experience can be overcome.
That's correct.
How long did it take from the time of your accident to the time that you were able to walk again?
Let me address that in that you can't, if you will, have a happy ending without a happy journey. So enjoy the movement towards what you do want. In my case, it took about 6 months of deep breathing, of visualizing, to actually begin to walk and to have that energy move throughout my life. But it's like, I don't care if it took 20 years as long as I'm walking right now, okay? But we have to really just enjoy the movement on where we are. We're making progress to it. I have found a way for any of us and all of us to be able to enjoy the life we have always wanted. And we can do it with simply 15, 20 minutes in the morning, first thing in the morning. So the answers are easy if we think they are. Here's a real interesting perspective, Dan. We have each one of us have 60,000 thoughts each day. Can you imagine? 60,000 thoughts. Out of those thoughts, about 80% of those thoughts are unwanted thoughts, or what most people would call negative thoughts. But it even gets more astounding in that 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday. So if I'm having the same thoughts that I had yesterday and I'm having them today, it means my tomorrows are pretty much the same. So wake up in the morning and start saying, hey, I want to see what I want. What do you want? It's those wanted. So the things that you do desire. It doesn't matter, Dan, what the world is doing. What matters is what you're doing, what you're thinking, and then what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Normally I ask my guests, do you have a morning routine? You've already revealed yours.
But like before I even get out of bed, I am just talking to myself about, because we all talk to ourselves. The key is, what are we saying? And that, so I'm saying, hey, this is just going to be a wonderful day, that easy money, easy life, that I want to see what I want today. And so by the time I hop out of bed, Dan, I'm like on a cloud. I'm flying with my angels. I'm dancing. And meanwhile, my wife texted me, Sharon, she's pushing snooze button and everything. Takes her an hour and a half to really wake up. And I'm out of bed like that because I made it so. And we all get to make it the way that we want it.
Well, I do want to put a spotlight on something you said a minute ago when you said it was 6 months from the time you're diagnosed to the time that you're able to walk.
Yeah.
And you said it was 6 months of deep breathing and visualization. Most of us know how to deep breathe. Most of us know how to visualize, but we do it for about 6 seconds. So listeners, I'm reminding myself that if we're going to make sustained changes, it will take time, repetitive effort. But the key is what Dr. Hank said, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Don't be so focused on the destination. We forget to enjoy the journey.
Yes. And let me make it even easier for you, Dan, that it really is in just 1 minute. So not 6 months or anything, that it's in 1 minute. That if in 1 minute, and if you'll just breathe in 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 6 times, and just focus on your counting. The main thing is you don't want resistant thoughts that you don't want. And if you can breathe deeply and for just 1 minute, that you get connected with your higher power, all of a sudden the thoughts will come to you. And so it doesn't have to be this 6 months. Everything actually can be instant if we have no resistance to it. The issue is in one of my books called Your Royal Path to Riches, that the challenge is where our beliefs are, because it is done to us as we believe. I'll quote the Bible. Matthew 17 says that when 2 of you are there in agreement, that it shall be manifested on earth. And so I realized that the 2 of us wasn't 2 people. It was our 2 minds. And we each have 2 minds. We have our conscious mind, which is the ruler. The conscious mind is the one that calls it the way that you either want it or you don't want it. Because whatever you're thinking about, you're going to get whether you want or not. So you want to be on the wanted side. And how do you know that? It's actually with your good feelings. If you feel good, you're on your path. If you feel bad, you're not. Now, the conscious mind, again, you consciously are stating what you want. Well, think how many times it's take money. Think how many times you said, hey, I don't have enough money. Well, that becomes your prayer, if you will, and you'll be given more, not enough money. And so we have all these things, and they're buried in our subconscious mind. And let me just share with you how the subconscious mind is, that the subconscious mind has memorized every thought that each one of us have had since conception, every thought, every feeling, and every experience up to this very red hot moment. And it has an opinion, your subconscious mind has an opinion about every subject under the sun. And those opinions of your subconscious mind is what most of us would call our beliefs. So we actually have created beliefs that don't serve us many of the times. Probably 80% of our beliefs are beliefs that don't serve us. And the subconscious mind actually creates it for us, our life for us. So again, it's with our thoughts And that those thoughts then go into the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind is an obedient servant. And it does whatever your predominant opinion has been about any subject under the sun. And I'm going to share with you right now a technique. It's a sentence, a magical sentence. So here that is. I easily accept new prosperity thoughts. So I easily accept new prosperity thoughts. When you say that with your conscious mind, your subconscious mind has no beliefs against that. Okay. Because I easily accept new prosperity thoughts. So it's not older, new prosperity thought. Yep. No problem. So it will be accepted and will be a dominant vibration within your subconscious. So that becomes your dominant thought, and it becomes your dominant creation, and you will start having prosperity thoughts. Voila.
I easily accept new prosperity thoughts.
You got it. You got it. And write that 21 times. And as you write it, there's something about writing it because it adds in your senses there. So you have it mentally, but you're also seeing it, you're physically doing it, and it helps make it stick, if you will. And it helps really implant it into your subconscious mind. The prize here, Dan, the prize for all of us is joy.
It is joy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Hank, let me ask you to close with answer to one question.
Sure.
Many of our listeners are very much in a joyful path right now. Things are going great in their lives.
Awesome.
We've got some others that have hit some really unfortunate situations.
Yeah.
What would be a couple of things you could advise people that just aren't sure where to turn and what to do next?
You bet. You bet. And I have lots of empathy of that. I've been through it. We've all been through challenges. And for those that are being challenged right now, that for sure the most important thing that you could do is to start asking for what you want. It's very easy for us when we have physical challenges, don't have enough money in the bank, whatever, when it's staring us in the face, it's very easy to be thinking about it often. Well, what happens? There's two most powerful thoughts. The second most powerful thought is those thoughts that I keep on thinking. And remember, you get it, want it or unwanted, it, depending on what you're thinking about. The most powerful thought, though, is when you think a thought and it feels good.
Fantastic. Well, on that great note, we're going to wrap this up. Dr. Hank, thank you for sharing of yourself with your heart. Thank you for the life that you lead, the example that you set, the practical tools that you give us. And I wish you continued joy, which I know will be in your way because it's on your mind all the time.
You bet, Dan. Thank you so much. And another thing I just have to think, again, we're not selling anything other than joy. So if you want some more joy, there you go. Dan, thanks so much for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Dr. Hank.
Okay. Bless you all.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. To stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and Twitter at Catalyst_Action. Thanks for listening.